Hey friends, today we are in the Sideboob kitchen making potato chip shorties straight out of the Milk Bar Cookie Cookbook. All you're gonna need for this recipe is some butter, flour, sugar, salt, and classic potato chips crushed up. Let's get started. First up, we are gonna get our softened butter in a bowl. Then we are gonna put our sugar in and cream those two together for about a minute to a minute and a half. So pour that on in there, right on top of your butter, and give that a minute. You're gonna want it to look a little something like this and make sure that it's nice, well incorporated, and fluffy. After your butter and sugar is mixed until it's nice and smooth, we're gonna go in with the rest of our ingredients. So you're gonna add 3/4 cup of flour. We are going to add a teaspoon of salt, as well as 2 cups of crushed potato chips. Like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be your standard potato chip. We're gonna take our mixer back in and we're gonna mix this just until the dough forms and comes together. So you don't wanna over mix this because then your cookies are gonna end up being really dense. There, this dough getting all over my kitchen. We're gonna go in this way first. Since the only semi-liquid ingredient is the butter in this recipe, I decided to give up on the hand mixer because it was making too much of a mess, and I just went in with my rubber spatula. So we're just gonna mix this up until everything is nice and wet from that butter. When you're mixing the butter and sugar together, it does melt a little bit, so you just wanna make sure that it comes together enough for it to form kind of a ball that sticks together, or in our case, we're gonna be forming a log that sticks together because we're gonna roll that out in some sugar next. Now I put some flour back in my sifter so that we can sift some flour out onto our surface. And you're just gonna do a quick little sift just like so, just to get your work surface nice and prepped to roll out your dough. Once you have that done, go ahead and turn your dough out onto that surface. And we're gonna form this into a log that's gonna be about 6 inches long, I'd say. Awesome, I think we have it. Here is our cookie log. Next, we're gonna coat it in water and then sprinkle some sugar along the outside of it before wrapping it up and putting it in the fridge. The easiest way that I found to do this is to get a brush, dab a little water onto your log like so, and then with a spoon, sprinkle that sugar on top. This is going to give our cookies a nice sweet element on the outside of it before you get to that salty and savoriness in the middle of the cookie. And then we'll take our plastic wrap and wrap that up. Now it's a little messy. You can put it in a bowl. You can leave it like this if you don't mind your fridge having a little sugar on it. But here you go. Time to chill, 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes. I've taken the cookie log out of the fridge, and while it was hardening, I set our oven to preheat to 350. Now we're gonna unwrap it. It should look something like this. I have my baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and we're gonna cut this into about 1/2-inch slices. Now it should hold its form similar to this when you slice it. If it falls apart, it means it's not ready yet because that butter hasn't hardened. We're gonna place that on our cookie sheet, and we're gonna place them about 1/2 inch apart. I was able to fit 8 cookies on my sheet. Now we're gonna bake them for about 12 to 17 minutes. You really just wanna bake them until they flatten out a bit and they're golden around the edges. Let's get these in the oven. Now my cookies took about 15 minutes for them to get that golden brown, but once you take them out, you're gonna see that they're nice and golden brown on the top as well as around the edges. Now we're gonna leave these to cool for a few minutes before we take them off of this cookie sheet and take a bite. It is so crazy to see how much butter actually came out of these cookies as they were baking. I mean, this parchment paper is basically transparent, But now that the cookies are cool, we're gonna take them off the parchment paper and take a bite. And I can see that all of that golden brown is from the caramelized sugar that caramelized on the cookies as they were baking. And I can tell that is gonna make for one delicious crunchy bite. These are so good. Oh my goodness. It's salty, it's sweet, it's crunchy, it's chewy. Oh my goodness. For a cookie only having 4 or 5 ingredients, this is an absolute game changer. I feel like you could even maybe crush the chips up even a little bit smaller so you don't have as big of chip chunks inside the cookie, but even with the density of the cookie or of the chips that I crushed them, I think this is an A+, 9.5 out of 10 cookie. Definitely make these for yourself. You won't regret it. And you'll absolutely love the buttery goodness.